Welcome, everybody, to another all new episode of the Street Geeks. I'm your boy John J, and with me is always my dog, Stu Dog. What it be like, my brother?
Not much, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Oh, do we ever? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna put this out there right now. Don't come back talking to me about you spoiled the episode. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. We are about to break down this latest season finale, episode 8 of Ahsoka. The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. Man. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this thing, please, you could do this show a huge solid by getting down there and hitting that like button, share, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to hit that bell to turn on notifications so you don't miss out on none of the action that we got coming for you. Loki season 2 is kicking off Thursday. We will be breaking that down too, so check that out coming this weekend. But Stu Dizzle. Man, what you think? What did you think about the episode? Was you feeling it? The finale?
Oh yeah. Oh, always.
My dog.
Of our man Dave Filoni. He always has a way of ending seasons on a very good conclusion that makes you already wanting the next season.
Man, didn't he cook?
Oh yeah.
Dave cooked on this one. I since the episode ended, I've watched a lot of different reviews and people breaking it down and discussing it, and I've heard a mixed bag, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I would say for me, probably 9 out of 10. And the only reason why it ain't a 10 out of 10 is just because I want more. I always want more.
Yeah, I would have to completely agree with that. That's about where I'm sitting at too, a 9 out of 10, because I wanted a little bit more.
Yeah, no doubt. But man, we gonna break this thing down from our perspective, you know. Um, but man, episode 8. First thought that I had that we could get into Morgan
Yeah.
Elsbeth. She got a nice little power up, and it was fool's gold. The definition of, because
Mm,
she got powered up to get left behind. What did you think about that, Stu?
uh, I I think maybe it was anticipated. I wasn't really surprised.
Yeah, did we mention her dying? I think we said that. I can't
I
recall.
think I think we knew that she was going to die. I mean, as for the being left behind thing, doesn't surprise me. It is kind of a Thrawn thing to have happened. Strategically sacrificing.
Yeah,
Uh,
we got a hint of emotion from him on that scene. You
yeah,
know, it was very subtle, like you said, like Dave likes to do. But it was a when she had that, I understand. He kind of had a little small half a second look, like it hit him in the feels.
it did because Thrawn. I mean, like he seems very cold and everything too, but he's still like a living person. He believe it or not, he does have the best of intentions for the galaxy at whole. It's
Yeah,
just like, and what needs to be sacrificed or done to get there is going to be done as long as like he can protect the galaxy. I still think he's trying to protect the galaxy.
yeah. I mean, they even said it in one of those lines. He said, "For the Empire and the safety of the galaxy, or the protection of the galaxy, or something like that." So absolutely, he definitely sees he sees himself as doing protective work. Um, yeah. So the night troopers and the death troopers. They didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I knew
Last week
that.
they went down easy, but this time they got back up.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be a coming thing. I was like waiting for it because I didn't know when it would take place, but I knew those troopers that went down. That I'm like, okay, they're gonna stand back up. I know it's not that simple and easy. I mean, it's also pretty nice too because I think Filoni was doing a little bit of a mixed thing there. Not only was he, giving us something interesting and new, but there's also a novel called Death Troopers, and it, it's Star Wars horror, and those stormtroopers pretty much behaved exactly how the ones in that book behaved, where they're just pretty much zombies and everything.
Dope.
Ironically enough, the Death Troopers that were at the top were more accurately like how they were really like in the novel. So pretty cool. I think he was trying to make like a EU connection there for people who like that kind of stuff. I
Yeah, that
mean,
was
like
sick, man. That was dope. I dig it.
we might see more of that too, and if we do, it's gonna get scarier because you'll start seeing stormtroopers like climbing the walls like spiders.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick. I like the idea of Star Wars horror on screen. Um, that's a good genre when you're dealing with what they deal with in Star Wars. When you got force ghosts and witches and whatnot. Let's do it. Let's bring on the horror genre to Star Wars. I'm digging that. It was a good vibe. Um, Speaking of a good vibe, my home girl, man, my home girl Shin Hati, Shin Hati, Shin Batty. I've heard all of the nicknames, but how about Shin the Bandit now?
Oh
What
yeah,
did you think about her? Going to find her a new home, a new crew.
I don't know what to think of it just yet. I think I think she's got a lot of anger, and
Yeah,
she's gonna be dispensing that like how she sees fit. It's gonna be chaos.
yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to season two. I want to see how that plays out. She's gonna be the bandit leader. But do they mutiny if food isn't around or whatever else they need? We'll see how they get down. Because I was thinking, I was rewatching and I was thinking like, how do all those bandits eat? What's around there? You know. Hopefully, season two we can explore some of that. Because I'm definitely a fan of Shin Hati. I'm glad she's still with us. Um, but moving on, her master, Balin Skull. We got a Mortis guy cameo in the end. What did you think about that? I know
Oh
oh,
man,
you want to
that's
get
just
into the
like
nuts and bolts of that one.
I think there was like a silent psychic scream from all the Star Wars fans that are aware of the Mortis gods and saw those
Hmm.
statues. I'm still trying to figure out the whole like why is the daughter statue knocked down and the son isn't? And
I wanted to get into that too. And since you brought it up, we can talk about that. I noticed that. Why is her head gone and there's a nice little gap in between her and the father? Um, was there a battle there, perhaps? I've heard a lot of theories there. I've heard a theory that because Ahsoka is the daughter, that's why the head is gone. I, I I I like the idea that maybe there was a battle that went down there. Maybe Abeloth.
see, yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is because I was doing a refresher on Abeloth and everything. Abeloth wasn't the same species as the Mortis gods. She was mortal and she was getting old, and so she drank from the fountain of power and dived into the pool of knowledge in order to become like them, and ended up becoming a horrendous creature. And um, she became so powerful, like the Mortis gods fled the planet and left her there to be trapped. So it is being thought that like that calling Balin's feeling is her reaching out, trying to get somebody to come so she could like possess him or something, so she could finally leave.
Yeah, when I rewatched it, I was thinking something along the lines of that too. And there's a show that I've mentioned previously, New Rockstars, a channel that I watch on YouTube. They do a really good job of breaking down scene by scene, and in that scene, they paused it and zoomed in, and you could see it was like a light beacon transmitting, which happened to be the same color orange as Balin and Shin's blades, which could mean
Mm.
something. And also, if they did go in the direction of Abeloth, maybe that's who's calling. And if Balin perhaps maybe does those same things, dives in the pool, drinks from the fountain, or did I say that wrong? No, that was right.
I mean, yeah, yeah, same thing.
But if he does that, he begins to get the disfiguration. That will answer your recast. Since R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. So that's a good, interesting point. I can't wait to see how they flesh that out.
I think before he gets there, he's gonna run into I think he's gonna run into like an ancient being that's probably been there for like thousands of years. That might be like the guardian or the steward of before entering and taking from the fountain and diving in the pool and all this and that. But at the same time, like I'm thinking that's what that flashing might be. Maybe that's the fountain of power, and it's just light refracting off of it, and maybe that's why it's like changing and kind of like brightening and dimming. But who knows? And I think maybe the statue read might just be we're reading too far into it because like the daughter still technically lives in Ahsoka, but we saw that the son and the father died.
Right,
So
right.
so I think that there we it's just telling something we already know. I think it was just like old stuff left behind from when they were there because it's assumed that they lived on this planet before they left.
Yeah, yeah. Now on the other side, if that isn't an Abeloth thing, I've heard other theories that maybe could be a portal to Mortis. Where that in between world where they were at, that world between worlds type of whatever you want to call it, planet that they were on,
Like a
in the
pocket
Clone
dimension.
Wars. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be a thing as well. I've heard theories that maybe they could be led to the essence of the Mortis gods, maybe resurrect them or something. There's a lot of cool things that could be done with this. I'm interested to see, really interested. I'm anticipating it.
I'm already ready for that second season because it's just that light in the distance is bothering me. Like I have to know what that is, and like it's just so far away you can't tell what it is. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah, and we got the bird, Morai.
Yeah,
Morai,
Morai.
we got the bird in there. Yeah, so I definitely can't wait to see how Ahsoka's path pans out. And we got what I wanted. I wanted to see more of this other world, and so we will get that. The only question I have going forward is how will they do next season? Will it be all of this new galaxy, or will we get shades of what's going on with our other rebel friends on the other side in the other galaxy, with Ezra's return? We got to get Ezra somewhere. I'm expecting maybe Mando season 4. We got to have him sprinkled in there with Thrawn. What you think about that?
Um, hmm. Just taken away from how this season has played out and been directed by Dave Filoni,
This last one was I forget the name.
by Rick Fumi
Yeah,
Yua. Yeah, he's good. He's directed several of the Mandalorian episodes. Um, and the way it's being done is a lot like the original trilogy in the way of like where it focuses on two parties that are in different places on the galaxy. So
good point.
it's gonna switch back and forth. So like That's what I'm seeing. Like where it does that transition from like the old trilogy where it's like sweeps across the screen and it's like you're focusing on the other group that's in like Bespin, whereas Luke was on like Dagobah, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's a good point. That they could definitely do that. That's right alongside the canon. That's a Star Wars thing. So good point. Um, okay, so we finally got it. They've been hinting at it all season. We got Sabine using the Force. She got
Yeah.
down with the get down. Um, what did you think about it? Was it just right? Was it a little bit too much, or what you think? Did you like it?
Yeah. I liked it, and then I thought about it a little later. I'm like, well, she did just get connection with the Force. I thought it was kind of a big stretch that she could like already lift Ezra onto the Star Destroyer. I was like, I feel
Yeah,
like that's a little bit of a stretch, but
I thought
the
that
thing,
too. But then I went back and I thought about the Ahsoka line that she gave her. Train your body, train your what
your
was it?
mind,
Train your body, train your mind, but trust the Force.
you trust in the Force. Yeah.
Um, maybe that was just maybe it takes everybody so long because they don't have trust. Maybe the
Oh
ones that
yeah.
get it quicker just trust faster.
I mean, also Sabine is a child prodigy as well.
Yeah, and then there's
Anything,
also the possibility that where they're at is very strong in the Force. You know, if
yeah,
that's where the Mortis gods were from.
that's true. It could be very strong. So the connection there could flow like water.
Yeah,
But I just chalked it up to like she's a child prodigy because that's something about her character that has always been there. It's like anything she usually applies herself to, she excels at. So like when she starts struggling with something, she gets easily frustrated.
yeah,
Because like that's not something like she doesn't normally struggle that much. I mean, we saw that in Rebels when she was learning how to wield a lightsaber, and we saw when she was trying to use the Force. But as soon as she got the grasp of it, like then she suddenly, was starting to get it like quite easy.
yeah, no doubt. But I thought it was a nice ode to the Rebels also because we saw a lot of Kanan and Ezra doing like the force jump and push or pull
Yeah,
or throwing each other.
yeah.
That's a Rebels thing, so that was a nice little wink wink to the fans, I think too. So that was pretty dope. Um, okay, so yeah, and then, like you said, like she's a prodigy. They've been hinting at it. I kind of chalked it up to running out of time, episode
Yeah,
wise.
yeah. Crunch time.
And they hinted at it for so long, they left themselves out on a cliff, so they had to do it. But okay, so moving on, when we saw Thrawn, and it would have been dope to hear him say, "Begin the bombardment." But once he started shooting down, once he gave the order to shoot down on the tower that they were on, you saw the one of the night mothers
Yeah.
kind of like, wait, what? We didn't talk about this. So, who do you think is gonna turn on the other first, Thrawn or the witches?
Uh, Probably the witches. I have to say because they're usually the ones that will turn first. I mean, they did it to Dooku, but at the same time, like Dooku had to betray them first. So they see their deals through to the end, at least until they feel threatened or betrayed.
And so here's my question: um, Do they finally get power, like real power in this universe, or do they get wiped out again? Like maybe Thrawn sees it coming and it was a part of the plan. Um, what do you think about that? Or do they finally stand up and they run things? I saw some interesting theories that I'll
I
get to in
think
a minute once you give your answer.
I don't think they're going to get wiped out.
Okay.
The reason for that is because to have them wiped out and not in the Star Wars universe anymore would be a very weird thing to happen. Like I mean, like the
Especially after
Mandalorians
bringing
nearly
them back
were.
the way you did.
Yeah, like kind of like in the Mandalorian show. Like the Mandalorians were nearly wiped out, and imagine like Star Wars not having Mandalorians anymore. It would be like that too. So like it seems that like the Night Sisters were wiped out, but now they're coming back like a resurgence. But I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that they're upset about Thrawn destroying their fortress. I mean, they are leaving it behind. I think they might have been surprised. But something I thought about too that I heard from elsewhere is it's like their fortress. Like notice where it is, and then all those screaming statues of the Night Sisters. Look where they are located, and it's like a circle, but almost like a fence post line all the way around them. I'm wondering if that's like where Abeloth could have been trapped in there, or if like that stuff was set up and was protecting them
That would
from
be
outside
interesting.
forces.
Maybe Thrawn shooting it down is gonna release her.
Maybe.
That's an interesting take. So again on the new Rockstars channel, on this latest episode, it was an interesting theory. They had somebody that broke down the writing on the wall that they opened up with the Force,
Hmm.
and it was Sith writing. Um, it talked about it was, I forget the name. I'll post a link to their episode somewhere in the description, but it was a name that they mentioned. But in the breakdown, it basically was one of the Zepho from the Jedi Fallen Order game,
Oh,
and this particular Zepho is buried on Dathomir. Dathomir.
what? Okay, this is news to me.
Yeah, I literally just watched this episode on New Rockstars right before we did this. So
Where the writing?
I'm gonna get
Where
it to
was
you.
it?
There's okay in multiple places. Like around the door. You know when Ezra and Ahsoka and then were coming with we're running with the howlers and use the Force to open the door.
Yeah.
It was on that door. I told you this guy he pauses it and breaks it down, and he uses other sources as well. He mentioned someone who tweeted out this meaning. And then also in the previous episode, when Thrawn and his and Morgan and them are kind of like standing on the perch of that temple. When they were on, matter of fact, it was the episode when they first got to Thrawn and he sent Balin and Shin to go find Ezra and
Okay.
Sabine, and they were kind of like standing out on that perch,
Yeah.
watching them leave. They were writing. It was writing underneath where they were, right on where they were standing, like at the top of that perch
Hmm.
under where their feet were.
Now I'm wondering if it's like an ancient Zepho that is going to be the ancient being they run into before it gets this whatever is causing this source of power that we think might be Abeloth, or it could just be the fountain of power.
It could be both things going on. Um, in
But
the
the
Balin
Zepho, I
in
love
Balin's
that.
direction, it could be the fountain of power. And the witches,
Mhm.
they got this master plan to resurrect the Zepho so they can run things, and we get that kind of that horror genre, more of the horror genre throughout Star Wars. Um, so that'll be an interesting take, though. Like that's totally different than anything we've seen visually from Star Wars. I know there's a lot of stuff in the books, but we haven't really seen any of that stuff on screen, except for the little things that we've gotten in like Clone Wars. We saw a lot of the witches resurrecting in Clone Wars, and also there was a scene in Clone Wars where a witch resurrected a bunch of zombies or and whatnot, and the caption it was literally the exact same speech, the same words that the witches in the episode used when they brought the night troopers back.
Okay,
So I'm telling you, man, they break down everything on that.
I gotta check these guys out.
Yeah, it's real good. So okay, moving on, something a little bit lighter. So I thought it was kind of funny, and I felt so silly. We talked about this, but I felt so silly afterwards. But there were so many theories going on last week. Um, people were mad. Well, why didn't Ezra get his lightsaber back? Why did he leave it with Sabine and all of this stuff? And nobody, nobody, at least that I've heard, no theory out there was, well, got a ship with everything they need. He's just gonna build one with Hu Yang, who teaches everybody how to build. He's got drawers full of everything you need. I do wonder where he got the kyber crystal from, though. And
I
that's
think I think Huey held on to several.
maybe, but I thought Hu Yang was all about you have to find and connect with your crystal. From and how he trained the kids, but maybe it was just for the sake of time. You can't connect. Here you go.
Yeah,
You've connected with two of them and you lost them. So
yeah.
here's one you don't connect
Here's
with. Maybe you'll
another.
keep it. But I thought that whole Ezra making his lightsaber and Hu Yang talking about Kane and all that whole scene was just cool, man. What did you think
That
about
was
that?
pretty. That was pretty cool. That was really dope, especially that emitter. He was looking
Yeah.
for it, and he's
And then he
like,
saved
just
it,
like
and it
his
was the
masters.
same one. Yeah, that was pretty dope. Hey, shout out to Hu Yang, man. He knows what to say.
I love
When you're that
Huang.
old, you know how to handle these moments.
He's an old wise robot.
Yeah. Old wise sassy robot.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, everything about that scene was pretty dope. Although I was waiting to see when he came out and showed Ahsoka and Sabine and saw the Tie Fighters come down, I was waiting to see him use it and deflect.
I thought they were too, but like that's a huge gamble to do that.
Yeah, maybe you hit one of them, or one of your Noti down low,
Oh yeah,
who got one of them got hit right out the gate. So
yeah.
R.I.P. to that
Poor
Noti
Nody.
RV.
Yeah. Whip.
So all right, I always have my little. I noticed something. It was cool, but it was also like, the scar, Ezra scar from Rebels. Did you notice he still has it?
Yeah,
Um, but it still looks fresh. I mean, it's been over a decade. I mean, Scar should look the exact same, but I
I
thought it
forgot.
was a cool no, nod. Like,
Forgot how he
ah,
got it. It was from like the Inquisitors, wasn't it?
yeah. Was it the Grand Inquisitor when Kanan thought he killed him?
Maybe I don't
What
remember.
was that? In the season one, I want to say of Rebels. Um, I don't know if you know offhand. Getting those comments, let us know. But it was still cool to see though. It was a nod. It was like, if you're a fan of Rebels, you know about that Scar.
Yeah,
Um, so that was pretty cool.
I can't wait till he loses the beard, to be honest, or at least
You think he
shape it up.
will? He probably shape it up. I don't know if he'll lose it now. He grown now. Maybe he does a little razor, like Kanan, gets his knife and gives himself a shave. Everybody in Star Wars got to get themselves knife shaves.
Yeah,
So maybe he gives himself a knife shave like Kanan did and look just like him.
he might. I mean, he's a lot like his master in a lot of ways, so he might keep the beard.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him and Jason. I wish that's the one thing that I wish I could have got. Maybe that's why I got a 9 out of 10. But I wish we could have seen his reaction hearing about Jason. I wish somebody, Sabine, Hera, or if he would have ran out, if he was there when Hera met him, that would have been so cool. Like I would have just liked to seen his reaction when he found out Kanan had a kid.
Oh man,
We
yeah. I
we was
mean,
robbed of that.
it's coming, man, and I think one master, one apprentice. So I think Ezra might end up teaching Jason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. That's the only way it's gonna ride. But I mean, you know how Star Wars do. There's gonna be a little time jump. Maybe he's already gonna be teaching them the next time we see. But I wanted that initial reaction. Kanan has a kid. Just something like, let me see that.
You know what
Maybe
I'm
the
excited for?
Jason is so tuned into the Force. Maybe he could have sensed them, and told them, "Wait, put your guns down," or something. Like, I would have liked to see a meeting
Yeah,
between those
it
two.
maybe it was a missed opportunity, but I'm excited to see the translation of what Chopper was saying when Ezra showed up.
Yeah. The before
Like,
and when he was back there with the troops, and the end when he got up on him. When he got up on him, it was like when he touched his head, he was like, "What? Ezra? Ezra Bridget?
Ezra
Is that
Bridger.
you? Ezra Bridget? That you?" I want to hear that too. And I found out I didn't know. You might have known. I did not know that all of the Chopper voices have been Dave Filoni.
Really?
Yeah, that's been his voice the whole time,
Ah,
even since the cartoon, since Rebels.
no
I
way.
did not know that. I found that out too. Another one of my discussion watches.
Huh.
I did not know that. Things I
That's
learned
pretty
something
cool.
new today. Um, but that was pretty cool. And then we got the same old Ezra. Of course, Ezra is gonna take down a trooper and use his gear. Why not?
I mean, as soon as I saw him dragging him and not throwing him out, I was like, oh, he's gonna
Yep.
wear his armor.
Yeah. I think we pretty much assumed he was gonna do that anyway. That's how else would he get back? But
Yep.
it was pretty dope to see that. A nice nod again. I feel like if you didn't see Rebels, you probably were lost throughout this whole series.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of talk about that. A lot of people complained that, well, if you didn't see Rebels or Clone Wars, you're gonna be lost. But to that I say, if you didn't see Rebels or Clone Wars, you don't know who the hell Ahsoka is, so you probably not even caring about this show.
It is going to be a hard follow. I mean, but it's also, we get it. It's like a big ask, guys. It's like asking you to watch 7 seasons of Clone Wars and 4 seasons of Rebels. But
Yeah, but I mean,
I mean, like,
I don't think this appealed to anybody that didn't see it. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm probably looking from it from a singular perspective, but it's like if you didn't see those, you don't know who the hell Ahsoka is. So you don't care about a show named Ahsoka. Maybe you might check it out because it's Star Wars, but I don't know. I feel like you're trying to reach an audience that is not looking for you.
yeah.
Um, who am I though? But regardless, it's been all dope. So last week I made a mention. I was like, so Ezra just gonna leave his noti people, they ain't, with no protection. They don't know how to fight, fend for themselves, or any of that. Um, but they were so happy when Ahsoka and Sabine returned. They were like,
Oh, yeah.
"Yeah, you're probably mad you left, but we're glad. You're probably mad you got left, but we're glad you're here." They were happy as all hell. They
I
need a
mean,
big homie in their lives, and they got a couple of
yeah.
them now. What did you
I
think
mean, they're
about that? They cool.
survivors.
Yeah, they are
So,
survivors. Shout out to the note. I want to get more noties. I want to see more noti. I can't wait till they come out with some figurines, man. Let me get some noties. Give me a shelf behind me. Put a couple noti up here. Let me get some Death Troopers and some Night Troopers. I need all of it. I'm here for it, and I need a Balin skull.
oh, yeah. That one
Um,
would be a dope one to have.
yeah, 100%. Um, so here's an interesting take. I don't know if you realized it. Everybody, every everybody that left the original galaxy to get Thrawn and or Ezra stayed or died. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no person that left made it back.
that's true. Kind of like a weird equal exchange.
Yeah, it was. That's exactly what it was. An exchange. Balin, Shin, Morgan, Ahsoka, Sabine. None of them made it back.
Interesting.
I like what you did there, Dave. I like what you did. I
He,
did say that I didn't. I thought that Sabine would make it back, but I did say it was going to be poetic justice if she got left behind. So it was cool that she stayed with her master. Did you feel that she got redeemed? Did she redeem herself in that?
yes,
I think so
I
too.
do. I
Uh,
think. I mean, it's not an easy undertaking of like choosing willingly to stay behind, knowing that you will have no way back home.
Yeah, it was like when she left to get Ezra, everybody, self included, were kind of mad at her. She did the selfish
Well, I
thing.
think
Well,
they
I
were
wasn't
all a
mad
little
at her
bit.
because I wanted Ezra too. But pause. I wanted to see Ezra on video. But it was like she had did the selfish thing, and she flipped it, did the selfless thing. It was like she did it all for Ezra. She,
She finally did the Jedi thing.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought that was dope, and she stayed behind with her master again. They that connection, that bond, that ain't easily broken, which kind of still get takes me back to when Balin and Shin split. It was just so all right, bye, so emotionless and good or bad, even with the Sith. It's
Yeah,
the
he was
Sith
pretty disconnected.
would kill each other to get out. It was just like you said, disconnected. It was just all right. Bye. Our road has come to the end. Um,
Well, that's something that should say a lot about Balin, because he he's not Sith, so but he's not Jedi either. So his entire behavior is like weird,
that's
you
true.
know,
You know,
because he's seeking the beginning. He's like trying. I'm convinced he's looking to break the cycle of where it's like light and dark trying to destroy each other. I think he's trying to do a hard reset and bring everything back into balance.
yeah.
Where
I think he wants to be the father.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Yeah,
but
he's gonna be
maybe.
the one to bring balance. I've heard a lot of theories that Shin is the son and Ahsoka is the daughter, and he's the father. Um, the theories go crazy around this time, but I wish it was right around the corner, season two. I can't wait to get to it. Um, Okay. The lightsaber choreography seemed a lot better in this episode. I hate. I don't hate because we expected Morgan to die, but the actress that played her, she did such a amazing job playing her. Even the fight choreography. I know that's Bruce Lee's goddaughter.
Hmm.
It was a joy. It was a treat watching her choreography, her
Oh,
scenes when she had that blade and she doing her thing. Like she was just real. That was a real cool character, Morgan Elsbeth.
that was a good fight. Like the lightsaber combat has gotten better, and
Yeah, because it was kind of slow early on in the season. Still haven't hit episode 3 levels yet.
oh
Anakin
yeah, I'm
versus
waiting
Obi
for
Wan.
that. Like, when are we ever going to get back to episode 3, like kind of combat, or at
Yeah,
least,
it's all about the choreographer. Got to get
or at
a
least,
good one in there.
like episode 1 or 2, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Because they leveled
Which I
it up.
mean,
You can't level it up and then drop it back down. Like, don't do us like that.
yeah,
It's almost
I
like
mean,
they
like,
evening it out closer to the original since we're in that timeline.
but that last fight was really well. It was better paced and a lot more action.
Yeah. And even earlier on when they were, you know, going up the tower, when they were fighting the night troopers, when when Ezra was in trouble, that lightsaber, she had that thing going. She had a nice little combo, and she about gutted one of those troopers. She hit him right down the middle. So that was pretty dope. But
I
yeah,
also like
choreography was a lot better.
I liked how Ahsoka also called out to Sabine to switch to her blasters, kind of like the old time with Rex during the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
With the sword and shield technique is what they called it.
yeah, and I thought she picked up on that. Sabine was kind of slipping a little bit, wasn't quite comfortable with the um, saber as much yet. Um, Switch over to what you know, what you're good at, what you're great at. So I thought that was that master apprentice connection. She kind of felt that. Um, so we've previously talked about some of the other upcoming shows that they're doing in the Star Wars canon. You got the Acolyte is coming, Skeleton Crew is coming. So I've heard that one of the things they're going to do with the Skeleton Crew is they're exploring another galaxy. Um, so it might be the skeleton crew that end up rescuing Ahsoka and Sabine. What do you think
That
about
would
that
be.
possibility?
I'd like that. That'd be interesting.
And this is Jude Law, I believe, is heading up that series. He's the top dog on
Yeah,
that series.
he's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that, how they play that out. Maybe Ahsoka and Sabine come back with some power ups. That'll be fun to watch and get them in that Thrawn movie.
I wonder how they're gonna bring him back. Like, I wonder if like Skeleton Crew is gonna accidentally end up there.
It could be. I believe that I think it was like Jude Law with a bunch of kids or something.
Yeah,
So it could be they just get lost and maybe they end up at Peridia. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. Interesting to see how they play that out. Um, so we might get some crossover. It'll be good. That'll boost up the skeleton crew if we can get Ahsoka and Sabine in it. Um, so I know we've talked a lot about it. Man, we went through this quick, but I know we've been talking a lot about what we can expect heading up, coming up in season two, and some of these other canon shows like Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. But what if there's anything that we haven't mentioned? What can you and we the fans expect heading into season two? What are you expecting to see?
um, well, I think we're going to see pretty sizable improvement in everybody's skills and abilities first. Like, I think like when we come to the second season, we're going to see that like Ezra, Ahsoka, Sabine, even Hera, like their skills are going to have like jumped by up by like a probably a large margin by the time we see them again. Because what we might be coming back to is Ezra, Hera, and the New Republic figuring out and fighting against and getting ready for Thrawn's resurgence back in the known galaxy, and him coming back and putting out the signal of like I have returned is going to cause a lot of the Imperial remnant to come flying back to him,
Yeah,
and then
which we've
um,
seen already in Mandalorian. Them talking about them.
like with Ahsoka and Sabine, Shin, and like Balin and all them. I think there's going to be a lot of like skirmishes between each other, and they're all going to have to like at some point work together or come together to figure out the mystery of the planet. They may not all work together for the same reasons, but they'll have come together on a common goal and try to understand the planet and the mysteries to unlock it and maybe potentially get themselves out off the world.
I like that. Um, I think a couple different fronts. I think that Balin. I think he unleashes Abeloth. I think that's the big thing. That's the big thing that everybody's running from. Um, Maybe that's probably why. And I know they mentioned earlier in the episode when the witches were talking to Morgan, it was you who heard our dreams. Dreams was an interesting word to use. Maybe those caskets weren't caskets. Maybe they were like cryo chambers,
That's
cryo
what I'm
sleep. Maybe
thinking.
they were sleep, and maybe the rest of them are just sleep, and they gonna wake them up.
I think they were under like some hyper sleep or something like that.
Yeah, maybe they went to sleep to protect themselves from that
I
evil.
mean,
Maybe they didn't want it
how
to
do
get in
you
their minds.
how do you protect yourself while you're sleeping when you're waiting for someone for the right time to come and wake you up? Which that's what Thrawn did. So like that goes back to that fortress and the like posts, the statues on the outside. I think they were protecting themselves there and waiting so they could get the hell out of there. I think
Yeah, that
that
adds up.
whole area was to protect them.
Yeah, that adds up. That makes sense. So yeah, I think we get some of that. But then on the Jedi side, we, as I mentioned, Skeleton Crew. I think we will get some crossovers on their show. But I think that maybe the Skeleton Crew don't save them in that episode. Maybe they get stranded there with them, or maybe they're passing through, or something like that. But I think it's not until Ahsoka season 2, where they actually make it back. Maybe like seasons in, they get back just in time for the Thrawn movie with some power ups. And you can use that movie and that movie budget to show those power ups. So yeah, I think we get a lot of that, and then, maybe Jude Law and them come back with her at the end of the season. So maybe we get some team ups, some crossovers using. I noticed Dave Filoni uses one show to boost another show.
Yep.
He does that a lot. Mandalorian launched Boba Fett, launched Ahsoka. Um,
Hmm.
I think they're gonna do that. Ahsoka launching Skeleton Crew, so to speak. Even though Skeleton Crew comes first, but that's gonna make Skeleton Crew bigger by putting them in Ahsoka. Well, meshing the two
Oh
shows
yeah.
together. So I think we're gonna get a lot of that. We're gonna get some mesh ups on that.
Yeah, they uplift each other, and then they'll get intertwined.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Acolyte shows us some of the dark side stuff from there. Who knows? I can't speak. I don't know a whole. I don't know much of anything about what's going on with that show. I just know that it's about the Sith, and I can't wait. I'm here for a Sith show.
That would be yeah, that would be very nice to watch.
A Sith show is a sick show. I'm down for it. But yeah, I don't know. Did I miss anything that you wanted to talk about? Still,
Hmm.
we went through
Oh,
this kind of quick today. It's just so hype, man. It was a fire finale.
um, no,
Uh, uh,
not really. I
I
think we
I
covered
got
it.
something for you. Okay, so throughout this entire season, what has been your favorite episode or moment?
Oh, man, like still one scene that still is reaching out to me that like I like the most is when they pretty much revealed that the orb was a star map, and then they activated it and it showed the entire map room. To me, that was still a big deal for me because that's like that has so much meaning and like in connection to some things that I'm like, oh my gosh, is he really going to be bringing all this into Star Wars now, like Knights of the Old
Yeah, that was
Republic kind
big.
of thing? Because like Shin and Balin alone, those two look like they're from Knights of the Old Republic as well. Like I was like, wait, are we bringing in all kinds of elements from Knights of the Old Republic? Because like if we see like an infinite continent dude that's like the last of his species alive, or maybe it's a Zepho now. You got me thinking it might be a Zepho now. Um, that like he's gonna run into kind of like the old Crusader in the Indiana Jones, the Last Crusade that guards the Holy Grail. Like that would not be a big surprise too, because like I mean that's also part of LucasArts, and it wouldn't be too much of a stretch that like Filoni's like, hey, let's throw a little bit of Indiana Jones in here. We're gonna have like a steward of like the protected item, kind of like the Holy Grail was protected by the Last Crusader, and it might be a Zepho or Infinite Recontinent. So like I would say it would be this episode, but as in for seeing the one that hit me the hardest was that is when that whole map room was activated. That was it for me.
Okay, yeah, that was a dope scene. For me, it's easy. I believe it was episode 5. Episode 5 that's my favorite. I told you, Anakin is my favorite Star Wars character. Period. Point blank. Because of the Clone Wars, and Episode 5 was live action Clone Wars, and the most memorable scene is right after Ahsoka, he kicked Ahsoka back in the world between worlds and came, and we saw that Anakin Vader switch.
Yeah,
That Until the day I die will probably be the coldest thing ever. That's gonna be hard to top for me. I'm sorry. I'm a big Anakin fan.
Oh
So
no,
give
dude!
me more. That
Now
was the
that
sickest thing ever.
now that you point it out, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot all about
That
that. That
might
was
have
a whole.
that one scene for me might have been the coldest scene in Star Wars history for me. To see that visually, the I'm Anakin now I'm Vader. Just that
Yeah, the
second,
flash.
that that was so cold. That left a lasting impression. That will last to the end of time.
And there's a reason Vader is still one of the top 10 villains in cinema history. Like,
Yes,
he's scary.
he had a whole galaxy scared of him.
Yeah.
They did not want to piss him off.
I'll
Um,
never forget that whole Lucas thing of like when somebody asked him, like, so when you introduce him onto the screen, is he going to say anything like really like, cold and like this and that? And George Lucas was like, no, he's not going to say anything. He's black. The background's white. I think he gets the point across. And it's like, yeah, it's just let the lighting and the imagery
yeah,
tell the story. Because like as soon as Vader gets there, he just looks at all his dead soldiers and then he just walks on. Like I don't care.
yeah, y'all failed. Bye. Yeah, so that was that probably was one of my favorites. Um, yeah, so overall, man, this was a great series, a great first season. I see the vision. I like the vision. I like the direction that Star Wars is going in. Um, Now that Thrawn and Ezra are back in the galaxy, now it kind of hypes up every other show that they're doing from here on out. I mean, I don't know anybody that's not going to be looking forward to seeing them in Mando season 4.
I wonder if
We got to
Ezra's
see.
gonna connect with Kanan,
That would be cool.
like through the Force, because
Get Freddie Prince voice out there doing it.
also I think one of the Loth wolves is uh became like was possessed by the spirit of Kanan or something like that.
I tell you what, that's probably my biggest regret of the series. I didn't get a Loth Wolf. I'm a little hurt about that. I want my
Like
live
those
action Loth Wolf.
in that one episode where we saw them like on a cliff howling. I was wondering if those were actually Loth wolves or not.
Hell, but that was in Peridia though. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I figured
I think
those were the howlers.
I think even the caption said howlers.
Yeah. Um, maybe that's what we can get in Mando season 4. They show us what Ezra's doing. Maybe he's back on Lothal in that same communications tower, and then maybe we get some Loth wolves, even if it's just a second. Man, give me a god doggone Loth wolf. But yeah, I'd have to say that's my biggest regret. But overall, I love this series. Um, the rewatches was crazy. I rewatched this probably more than any of the last few Star Wars series. Um, I rewatched Andor a lot though. I think though because that's one that you got to hear everything that they saying very
Oh
clearly. So I
yeah.
had to fine tooth comb that one. But yeah, I like the direction that we're heading. Ladies and gentlemen, get down in those comments. Tell us what you liked and or disliked about this series. Um, But yeah, Stu Dog, man, this has been fun, man. It's been a pleasure breaking down this first season with you. I know we got started kind of late, but from here on out, we own it. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
only gonna get bigger from here. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have enjoyed. This limited run so far. It's been limit. I say limited because we started late, but we gonna keep on going. So there is
Oh
no limit to that. It's about to go down outside.
yeah. Did you hear that too?
Yeah.
Okay, wherever you are, you're hearing the same thing as me. Because that got
So
me.
on that note, ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please get down in there and hit that like button, subscribe, share, comment, and don't forget to hit that bell to turn on those notifications so you don't miss out. And we gon' like I said, we coming back to you again for Loki season 2. So stick with us. And ladies and gentlemen, from us here at the Street Geeks, we love you, we appreciate you, and we'll holla. Keep it nerdy. Peace.